what's up everybody, this is Tattoobart and welcome back to the channel. It has probably been a minute since you've seen my face on YouTube. That's because I just didn't have anything to review. I hope you did enjoy watching my actual tattooing videos that I posted, but it was a little bit quiet with the equipment for a little bit. But today we got a really cool product. We got the P2S Pro by Easy Tattooing. And yeah, this is pretty cool. I actually sent them a message because you guys were asking me about to review the P3 Turbo, I believe, P3 Pro Turbo, which is similar to the WOS machine that I reviewed recently. They already stopped with the marketing for that particular machine, so they sent me this one because this is one of their newest one, the P2S Pro. It's a 3.5mm stroke. We're gonna unbox it and yeah, see how this machine actually runs and works. So let's dive down. So we got this beautiful box right here. Nice green box, Easy Tattooing. And right here we got the user manual, machine. Now I got this with only one battery. I think usually you will have your spare battery in here if you got two batteries. And just underneath here we got a little charging cable. So here you have it. This is the Easy P2 Pro by Easy Tattooing. It is very light. It is a 3.5mm stroke. Of course you can do your grip adjustments right here. It is a fairly small grip, so I think to use this you might want to use a little bit of a more narrow kind of grip tape, because the bigger one might overlap a little bit. It is very good click to it, so it definitely doesn't adjust on you while you're tattooing. It's always something I really need to consider. Of course you can take off your battery if you need to replace it. One thing I do miss in this box is like a little RCA connector. There's no RCA port or something, so you can use this machine wired. It is a wireless machine only. Maybe if you get the dual battery, you might have one. Now I see a little ridge here, but I don't think, oh it does, yeah. Here's another little ridge. You can open it up and you will find your cam. Now this is a 3.5mm cam. I don't think you can really replace it. They might sell bigger cams, but there's no extra cam or whatsoever in the box. But yeah, all very similar style. We got the motor right here. Let's put that back together, and it's actually nice to be able to reach that motor, because sometimes you get some trouble, so you want to oil it or you want to clean just the inner part of your machine, so you can take it apart very well. It's not filled up with grease anywhere. It is just, it has been greased. I can see a little bit, but it's not like there's a whole chunk of oil or like lubricant in there, so that's also pretty nice. They took good care of the machine, and I think this machine has a pretty good, like, it looks very professional. It has nice finishes to it. It's nice metal look or aluminum kind of look. All in all, it looks very solid. Now let's actually turn on the machine. I'm gonna turn the lights down so we get a better look at the interface. So pretty straightforward. We got the power on button here where you can turn it on. It shows Easy Tattoos, 5.3 volts. That's where it's on. You could potentially pair it. I don't know if you can see it. You see a Bluetooth icon right there. You can pair it with a Bluetooth foot switch. Now unfortunately I don't have one, so we cannot really test that, but in the user manual you can see how you can pair up a Bluetooth foot switch to actually use that on your pen, which is a pretty cool feature, I think, if you don't want to touch your machine or whatever. I always find it easier just to press the button. My machine is pretty much wrapped anyway, so I think it's a more convenient way to work for me. Of course, with the big plus and the big minus button, you can adjust your voltage by increments of 0.1. If you hold it down, it goes a little bit faster. I think it goes all the way up to 12. Pretty sure. Yep. And go down. To 4 volts. So all pretty standard. I do feel that at 4 it is running very slow. So you got nice, you know, you got a nice range of voltage from high to low. And I think even 12 volts isn't extremely fast, but not that I'm gonna use it. I mean, 8 sounds like a pretty good lining voltage to me. Maybe set somewhere between the 6 and 7 for some shading. And also the vibration on this machine is very low. It's at 6 volts now. And as you can see, it doesn't bounce, or you don't really hear it vibrating very hard on my table right here. So that's a very good thing. If you hold it, you do feel a little bit of vibration, but especially for a direct drive, it is not too bad at all. Now we're gonna get this machine ready for some tattooing. We're gonna use it on a little bit of practice skin, see how it lines, see how it shades and all that good stuff. We got actually some very nice cartridges from Easy as well, the Revo cartridges. We got a couple of sizes. We got a 3RL, 5RL, 7RL, 7 Magnum, curve Magnum, and a 9 curve Magnum. And I think these kind of needles are actually perfect in combination with a 3.5mm stroke. So let's get some practice skin, get some ink ready, and we're gonna do a little bit of tattooing. Before we start tattooing, let's actually have a closer look at these cartridges. They seem to be packed really well. They got off the blister package pretty easy without ripping. Let's open it up, because this is a 3-round liner. They do have a safety membrane inside. You can see it a little bit as well as that little rubber thingy. I don't know if you can see it. Feel pretty stiff, and the needles seem pretty good. And also, what I always like, especially on small needles like this, is there's no wiggle room at all. On some of these cartridges, they just move all the way around in that tip, and here they are just solid into place. They do move around a little bit, but you also need a little bit of room for that ink flow. But other than that, they seem to be very good into place. This is a 3-round liner. Of course, we got the 5-round liner here as well. And what I always like is if they mark it on the cartridge as well. Sometimes you have so many cartridges on your table laying around, and it's hard to figure out which one is which. This one looks pretty big. It almost looks like it's a round shader. Let me double check that. This is a 3-round liner. This is a 5-round liner. So they look a little bit on the bigger side, but I think we'll figure it out once we start tattooing. We got the 7-round liner here as well. Looks good too. Let's put them in order, and we're gonna do a little bit of lines with these. This is a 3RL, 5RL, 7RL. All right, let's start with the 3. All right, so we got the 3-round liner. We are currently at 8 volts, and we're gonna see. We can do some nice fine lines with this. Put a little bit of Vaseline on the skin. Here we go. Seems pretty good. The line weight seems pretty nice for a 3-round liner. Here we go again. And you can see these lines are super tight. There's no wiggle room or whatsoever in that tip, and it really shows. It's not moving around too much. Now it is a 3.5mm stroke, so I don't expect this machine to line very well on real skin, especially with bigger liners, but for 3RLs I think this is absolutely perfect. That's actually a market. 3. Three-round liner at 8 volts. Seems pretty good. Let's quickly move over to the 5-round liner. Now I do find this 5-round liner pretty big for a 5-round liner, but maybe it's just the look. Here we go. Let's create very nice solid lines. I might need a little bit extra horsepower, so I'm gonna put it on 8.5. I do get quite a bit of resistance from the practice skin, but it's to be expected with a 3.5mm stroke. This is a 5. Round line. Okay. Now let's move over to the 7. We are still at 8.5 volts. Here we go. Yeah, you can definitely tell that the machine is struggling a little bit. See if it goes a bit better if we go to 9 volts. 9 volts for a 7-round liner. Seems a little bit better, but I'm not sure if I would be comfortable to do this on real skin, to be honest. I also do feel like the 7-round liner is almost the same size as the 5-round liner. I don't know if you agree, let me know in the comments if you do. I have the feeling that these are pretty similar in size. Alright. Pause the machine. Let's clean this up a little bit. But I have to say, they do produce very, very nice line work. Okay, let's head over to that 7 curved mag. This is also this is a little bit of a smaller diameter. I think the 7 round, all the liners were a 12 gauge, yeah. All the liners were 12 gauge. The 7 Magnum is 10 gauge, and the 9 Magnum as well. I don't expect too much of a difference between these two Magnums, but we're gonna test all of them, just to be fair. A little bit of wiggle room, but not too bad. I got that 9 Magnum. Also just a little bit of wiggle room. They are curved Magnums. They are probably my favorite curved Magnums. I prefer curved Magnums over straight Magnums. And let's actually drop that voltage down all the way. This is 4 volts, ladies and gentlemen, which is incredibly slow. But we're gonna see if we can maybe achieve some really nice pepper shading or something like that. Let's have a look. This is very, very slow. It is also very soft, so I think you might be able to use this for super, super, super soft shading. I'm just barely touching the skin. I'm kind of doing like a pendulum kind of swing. And this is pure black. This is no diluted ink or whatsoever. And you can see it is pretty light. It's still got quite a bit of power for a 3.5mm stroke at only 4 volts. Personally, I don't think I would use it this slow. Let's see if we could pack a bit of black on 4, or if we need just a little bit more voltage. It does work, but it is a little bit too slow. I do have to say, probably if you are a beginner, this is actually a really good feature that you can work this slow, because slow is probably the way to learn, and going too fast is probably what's gonna set you back when you start tattooing. let's actually see what this does at 6 volts. It sounds to me like a nice shading voltage. Let's see what happens. This is still the 7 Magnum. Yes, this seems a little bit more up to what I prefer for my shading speed. And you can achieve a very nice smooth transition from solid black. Perfect. Beautiful. It's only with a 7 curve mag. I think at 6 volts I could pack a bit of black as well. And you can see that that looks a lot better than what we did here with the 4 volts. So 6 volts with my hand speed is probably my shading and packing voltage. Beautiful. Yeah, I really like that transition in the shading actually. Especially with a small Magnum like this. It's not the easiest way to achieve a very soft kind of shading. Let's quickly use the 9 Magnum just so we have had all the needles that were in the package. We are still at 6 volts. Oh yeah. 9 Magnum also really rocking it. Very nice shading. Can it pack as well with a 9 Magnum? I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah. Very solid. Very nice dense transition in the shading as well. So you can see very nice transition in the shading, very smooth as well. It does pack pretty well, although I do always feel like on a 3.5mm stroke, don't use the biggest magnums for packing color or packing solid black. I actually like bigger magnums for very soft shading, but then if you have to pack, stay to like a 7 or a 9 magnum, maximum maybe an 11 to do your color packing. But that's my personal experience. Let's actually quickly go back up top and let's talk about this machine just a little bit more. So that was a review of the Easy P2S Pro. I hope you really enjoyed watching this review. I'm gonna give you my pros and cons on this machine. Actually, I can't really find a lot of cons other than this is a 3.5mm stroke, and I am not the biggest fan of 3.5mm strokes. Although this one seemed to work very well on the practice skin. Now I know practice skin is just for practice and it doesn't really represent how it works on actual skin, but it's good to get the first feel of this machine before I actually start running this machine on a client. Now I do think I have an appointment sometime soon where I could actually use this machine for, so I'm gonna bring this thing to work, and just make sure you subscribe to the channel and you will see that video pop up when I'm actually gonna use this on real skin. I think shading wise this machine is absolutely perfect. I also think it can actually do a pretty nice bit of packing black or packing color. Line work is always a little bit tricky for me with a 3.5mm stroke. Although I did have a 3.5mm stroke machine by Yilong that I really like for fine lines. So yeah, maybe I could potentially do some very nice fine line work with this machine as well. It looked pretty good on the practice skin, especially with the 3-round liner. The 5 and the 7-round liner were very similar to each other, so I'm not sure I'm gonna test it with a 5-round liner that I have at work as well, just to see how that actually feels. But yeah, definitely don't go higher than a 7-round liner or maybe a super tight 9-round liner with a 3.5mm stroke. One thing I did notice, since I haven't really tattooed with a machine that has the battery on the back, because I'm using my WOS that I told you that has the battery actually sitting in the frame, I did notice that it does always put a little bit of tension on my thumb. Although this machine is pretty light, I do feel like it's a little bit heavy on the back. Not too much, but just a little bit. Other than that, this machine, yeah, works pretty good. It's also cool that you can Bluetooth pair it with a foot switch. I'm sorry I couldn't really help you with how to set that up and how that actually works because I don't have a Bluetooth foot switch. But yeah, definitely a cool feature. Yeah, and I think other than that I don't have too much to talk about the machine. The cartridges that we use, the Revo cartridges, were absolutely amazing as well. They seem to work pretty good on the practice skin. Now we're also going to take them together with this machine and actually run them on a client to see how they work on real skin. If you are interested in buying this machine or buying any other easy products, maybe a different machine, different cartridges or whatsoever, I will put a coupon code in the description down below, as well as a link where you can find this product. Yeah, make sure you use that coupon as well, because you will be a big supporter of this channel and I think it'll give you a nice little bit of discount as well. Other than that, I just wish you all a wonderful day and I will see you guys in the next video.